You're listening to the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast.
Go for it, Jim. Climb the ladder, kid. Make yourself famous.
A podcast covering all things WWE.
I have now returned to save the WWE.
NXT.
The beautiful part of NXT is that when one dream ends, another dream begins.
And AEW.
Holy wrestling. I couldn't be more happy.
Here are your hosts, Kyle Gagliardi and Jim Tucker.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast, hosted by the Marks for the Marks. I, of course, am your host with the most, Kyle Gagliardi, and my co-host is my good friend, Jim Tucker, or as I like to call him, Tucky!
What's going on, Kyle?
A lot of wrestling, Tuck. That's what's been going on.
You didn't say a lot of great wrestling.
There's a reason I didn't say a lot of great wrestling, because I don't know how I feel right now, man. I don't know. Well, I know how I really feel. I got bad gas right now. I'm going to throw that out there.
Evident. You are gassing it up tonight.
They don't call me Gasliarda for nothing.
Ooh.
What you been up to other than the other millions of shows we had going on this weekend?
Aside from the utter disappointment, just coaching, living, loving every day. Got to celebrate my good friend Pat's going away party on Saturday, and we cut a Wheelhouse podcast on Saturday as well for the network. So life is good. What about you, my man?
Same old single stuff. I'm a single man living by myself, watching wrestling, watching my baseball team. I guess that's something I've been doing a lot recently. A lot of stressful nights here at the OTSN headquarters.
Yeah, no doubt. But it is an exciting time, like you said. Haven't been in this spot in a while, so
that's true.
Chirp, chirp.
This is a very exciting time for me, but not for wrestling, that is. But we'll get to the wrestling a little bit, because I guess since we're on the Mark Wrestling Podcast, we have to talk about it. But we brought up the Overtime Sports Network. If you didn't know already, we are a part of OTSN. You can find us on the interwebs at otsportsnetwork.com, or make sure you're following us on Twitter @_OTSN. I just released a blog. It is a football blog, so if you are a fan of the NFL, I always do a Power Rankings one. I don't know if you got a chance to look at that one.
No, not yet. It's been a busy day, but I'm going to check it out, and you should too. But if you like, as a listener, if you like creating content and you want to scratch that creative itch of yours, we're always looking to add bloggers, especially to cover different content. And if you've thought about it, maybe you don't have a ton of experience, but you thought about it, and we're a good place to get your feet wet. So.
Yeah, that's what I always tell people. They're always like, oh, but what if I'm not that good? I don't care if you're not that good. This is the starting point right here.
Right.
And I'm speaking in terms of I run OTSN. That's why I'm speaking like this. But yeah, if you want to shoot me a DM at 2SweetKyle, or make sure you're following us at _OTSN, we can bring you along for blogging, for YouTube content. Right now, the podcast train's a little full, though.
Yeah, graphics even. If you're a graphics guy and you want to work on cuts and things like that, there's options.
I was very excited that Wheelhouse was back, but surprisingly, this might surprise some people that are listening, I kind of miss Kubaki.
Yeah, it's a weird feeling. You don't know what you got till it's gone, but we did have a special guest in Trevor Yonke, and he held the rope as best he could, but we are in a spot now with the fall settling in. This was the time that we picked it up last year, and
that's right.
I don't know that we're going to kill ourselves to get an episode out every week, but if we put out 2 good episodes a month, we don't cover current baseball. It's all a trip down memory lane or different weird, quirky topics. So 2 good ones is better than 4 pressed ones. It's also better than 0 in 2 months. So we've actually got a pretty good reception coming back too. So that's exciting, and the 3 of us are looking forward to getting together. But we are here every week.
We're cranking it out every week, and this is the second time we're recording in the last 5 days. Actually, that's just how much wrestling's been going on. But speaking of us, we have tweeted this out. We put it on Facebook. We were trying to get some merch in the works, and I think you came upon an idea for one.
Yeah, I don't really want to say it.
Why not? You want to make it a surprise?
Yeah, just, it's an opportunity for you guys to join a new faction, and join us. So the design will be, it's in the works right now.
I did tweet out a hint. I don't know if you saw that.
So you should head over to the Twitter and see the hint. You might have to dig a little bit. We're not going to pin it.
No, I don't want to do that. You got to do the work and find it at Pot on the Marcus, where you can find us. And if you're interested in that, just let us know. I'm sure we can work something out here. But
Yes.
before we get into all the stuff that happened this past weekend and last night, we have some breaking news, Tuck.
Here we go.
This is an On the Mark breaking news update.
Hulk Hogan. Have you ever heard of that guy?
Yeah, you better be prepared until the Hulkamania runs wild on you, brother.
That's right, brother. He wants his last ever match, and apparently I didn't know that he wanted another match, but he does. He wants that to be against Vincent Kennedy McMahon at WrestleMania 36. Tuck, what are your thoughts on that?
That's this coming WrestleMania.
Yeah, that's the next WrestleMania on the dock. I don't know how old Hulk is, but I know Vince is very old. He's a grandfather.
He sounds old when he talks.
Wow, what's your interest level on a Hulk Hogan versus Vince McMahon match here at WrestleMania 36?
Out of 10, I'd put it at a 3, 2.5, 3.
I think that's generous.
It's like you're in like hip replacement, knee replacement, joint replacement territory there. That's don't do it.
Do you think the reason Hulk even came back was because eventually he thought he'd be able to pitch this idea of maybe having one last match in the WWE?
It could be. I just don't like it. It wouldn't surprise me though.
No, it wouldn't. And we were worried that him and Flair were going to have a match at Crown Jewel.
We honestly were for a minute. Please don't.
So yeah, and I think that's everybody's response to this. I'd be surprised if any of you listening right now actually would be a fan of seeing that. I mean, everybody has their time, and we know Hulk Hogan is way past his time. And when's the last time Vince McMahon got into a ring? I can't even recall off the top of my head.
The last time he was in was probably too late. You know, probably too old at that point.
And that's just the problem with these wrestlers, especially the older ones that have had such historic runs. They never seem to get that itch away, and they always want to have one more match.
And that door is always open. In professional sports, if Michael Jordan wanted to try to cut it in a game with the Bulls or the Wizards even, they're not going to do it.
Well, I would actually consider it with how bad the Bulls have been
the
last couple of years.
You never see that. You don't see the Big Hurt sign a one-day contract to come get a pinch hit. They throw out the first pitch. They have and that's usually what we have with those spots. They have the promos and the pop-ins.
Yeah.
We don't need Hogan and Vince. Just don't.
The simple answer to this breaking news, and I'm sorry for breaking that for you if you didn't already know, is just no.
Nope.
Don't do it.
We're good.
But Smackdown, it made their debut this past Friday on the Fox network, and we actually got to watch this one together. I know you didn't see that one coming.
No, I did not. I saw it coming as I was coming on the way to Vogus' house.
Oh, yeah, because I also tweeted it out because, I got to let the people know I'm always on Twitter.
Yeah, here's where I'm at. I'm around, poking around, making moves. Yeah.
This is the first show since we started this show that we watched together, correct?
Yeah, and I it was kind of fun because I think between the two of us, it was like we got to keep some of the comments between, you don't want to throw everything out there. And certainly we were not watching it with like we were in a library or something, but
no,
it's cool, especially watching with Ryan and Aaron was there too, their thoughts and comments.
I think they have became like the side pieces of this show because we reference them about every single time.
Of course, and behind every good show, you got a few on the side helping, and we appreciate them for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was drinking a little Crown Royal and enjoying myself, watching it with my buddy across the table from me right now. And they started off things hot. We had the man and the great one in the same ring at the same time.
The great one meaning King Corbin.
Yeah, that's exactly who I wasn't talking about. Right. I was talking about The Rock. I don't know if you've ever heard of that guy.
Yeah, he showed up too.
Yeah,
my mom used to have the hots for him. By the way.
Really?
Oh, bad. Yes.
I
think
leave
dad bad.
I think my mom still has the hots for The Rock because she always gives my brother a hard time whenever he's on the screen. And then my brother's like, no, you're married. You got dad.
No, quit it. Yeah.
Don't do that. But, hey, The Rock's a good-looking man. And Corbin being out there, I feel like, was the perfect guy to just take the shit from The Rock.
Yep. I think he was having trouble trying to get bullied when he, in the moment, sharing the ring with The Rock.
It.
You're gonna take the people's elbow and the rock bottom, and he did hold it together pretty well, though.
Yeah, and it's been a while since we've seen The Rock on TV, but every single time he comes back, he's electric, never misses a beat. Started an STD chant that has now, of course, caught, which usually STDs do catch on.
That I have heard that. Fortunately, I've been able to dodge the bullet.
I was going to say no firsthand experience, right?
None.
Well, that's good. But apparently Baron Corbin has them. So.
Yeah, well, he has caught it, and it will travel. So,
but no, I think that was a good way to kick off the show because a lot of these people tuning in wanted to see The Rock.
Yep.
And
Of
having
course.
a guy like Corbin there just to take all of it was great. And even Becky Lynch got a few jabs in there.
Yeah, it stole one of the Rock's lines. It doesn't matter what you think. She got to mix it up a little bit. Made her look strong ahead of Hell in the Cell. So yeah, it was good.
Yeah, and that's a perfect way, I believe, to start off the first ever episode of SmackDown on the Fox Network, because The Rock was such a pivotal part of SmackDown when he was in the WWE. So that was a good opening there. And then the first match we saw was Sasha Banks and the SmackDown Women's Champion Bayley versus Becky Lynch and Charlotte. Not really much to note from this. I kind of feel like everything on this show was in a time crunch. I don't know if you've kind of felt the same way too.
It was slammed, and we had that comment throughout the whole thing. Where was the Undertaker? Where was Sting? Where was Stone Cold? And again, the workaround was the blue carpet, right? Well, they were all there, and it all happened, but at times it felt rushed. To the chagrin of some of the other matches too. But it was a fair match, and in hindsight, with the way it ended at Hell in a Cell, the finish was fitting, I guess.
Yeah, and I think now might be the time to make SmackDown maybe the 3-hour show, because it seems like Fox is going to want the bigger names and everything, and they're going to put most of their attention there on Fridays, and maybe shrink Raw to 2 hours again. I don't know. That's just a thought that's in my head right now.
Yeah, I just don't want 2 3-hour shows on top
Too
of
much.
4 more hours on Wednesday too. But
Or if you watch NXT UK, which I'm sure some people do, that's another hour right
Gluttons, yeah, no kidding.
there. And then AEW, I believe right now, as we're recording this, has their AEW Dark. Did you see what that is?
Oh no, I'm unfamiliar.
They're televising their Dark matches on Tuesday nights now.
Oh, that's nice. That's
It's smart.
not dumb.
No.
That's actually pretty cool. Yeah.
I haven't heard of any wrestling company actually do that. So
Well, and it gives meaning to some of those dark matches too, especially the performers. That it's what happens in this ring will leave the arena. So that's I think it's from a motivational standpoint good for them as well.
yeah, I'm probably going to go against their record too, and then they can work with the cameras and whatnot as if they were on live TV, just to get used to all that. So yeah, AEW Dark is going on right now. I should have probably recorded it, but I got baseball in the background because that's what's going on. But back to this 4-woman tag match. The Queen, Charlotte Flair, would end up making Bayley tap with the figure 4. Like I said, nothing spectacular, but solid action. Really not much for me to remember from that after all that wrestling we've had.
Right, and I agree with you. It's a match that happened fair, not good or bad, right in the middle. Sure.
And you had to put those 4 on the show just because, Hell in a Cell's 2 days away, and both of them, they are all 4, I should say, had a match against each other. But next matchup here on the card, well, we thought was going to be a champion versus champion match with Seth Rollins and Shinsuke Nakamura, but that quickly turned into an interference from The Fiend, and once again, attacking Seth Rollins.
The best part of The Fiend and Rollins all weekend, I guess. It's just...
This felt weird.
It's hard to talk about it knowing where we got to.
Yeah, and we're getting there, but it happened. Of course, they're going to show The Fiend on Fox. We'll move on. I mean, there's really not much there going on. It's just, if you've seen The Fiend attack Seth Rollins, it's kind of the same thing once again.
Yeah, it happened again. Mm-hmm.
And I don't mean that as a knock. It's just what happened.
You still watch, yep.
Exactly. And then the next matchup here, this was a matchup I know I was looking forward to.
Same.
Kevin Owens versus Shane McMahon in the ladder match. What can you recall from this one? Overall thoughts on it?
I thought it was a little chaotic, a little frantic. I thought it was a little spot festy, and
usually how they are.
And I was good with it. Because I think this was one of the matches that benefited from the time crunch. We need to get these spots and parts in.
Fair.
And I was good with it.
Yeah, I think it was a good match. The only complaint I might have about it, and I don't think it's the match's fault, is just commercials.
Yeah.
Just like the certain time of each one was happening, and they'd be at a very high momentum spot in the match, and then we're cutting to a commercial. It's just, I don't know, it's kind of tough with a ladder match and a live TV show, but Shane would end up hitting a diving elbow from the top rope on the announce table. That was cool. Shane does that from time to time. Owens hit Shane with a frog splash through a ladder. You remember that on the outside?
Yeah, that was nice.
That was a very cool spot, and you see those a lot in ladder matches. But when a big guy like Kevin Owens is doing it, it probably hurts a little bit.
No kidding.
So
the weight's got to stop at some point.
Yeah,
for sure.
And Shane, unfortunately, was the one on the end of that. But good, solid ladder match. If you've seen a ladder match, it's basically your
about par for the course.
Yeah, run-of-the-mill match here. Kevin Owens gets the win. Shane McMahon's fired. I think we can finally close the book on Kevin Owens and Shane McMahon.
I got my fingers crossed. I'm hoping.
Well, you would think if a guy's fired,
yes,
we shouldn't see him again.
I did read an article today.
Yeah, let's hear it.
That Kevin Owens has been moved to the alumni section on WWE.com.
Does that even make sense?
Nope. He actually won the match. So
Yeah.
I hope it's just a glitch, or
Did they put everybody in there, or was it just Kevin Owens that they said was an
like
alumni?
Alumni, like obvious alumni,
Jesus.
and Kevin Owens. And it might be switched by now, but because I read that this morning at like 8 a.m. So.
Yeah, no, I didn't even hear about that. I was just wondering
Weird.
if they put everybody in the alumni because they're all going to be free agents technically with the draft coming up.
No, I didn't see
Nobody
it.
else?
No.
Oh, that. I don't know. We're going to have to look into that
Yeah.
for sure a little bit more, but that's a little weird, especially since he got his job back by winning.
I think it's more of a glitch, like a misplacement, that maybe they were shuffling people and it happened and somebody caught it. I'm not by any means saying that this is a on the
catches
mark
that
breaking
kind of stuff?
news update. Dude, they're all over the place. There's
Like,
a lot of blogs.
Who just randomly goes to the website and just looks at the roster and they're like, oh, yeah, Kevin Owens in the alumni section.
Right. I follow some blogs in places on Facebook that pop all day. They've got something all day. So it's hard for me to believe that all of it's true. But that was one that did stick out to me.
I'll tell you what, though. If you want to like get news updates and everything, make sure you got the Daily Smart app.
Yeah. What is that?
The Daily Smart, it's just like a network. I guess I shouldn't say a network. It's a website with all these blogs, all these podcasts are featured on it. Our show is featured on it, and you can check them out. Just give them a follow at the Daily Smart.
Yeah, it's a nice app. There's a lot of content there. It's almost a catch-all. If you go to the Daily Smart, you're going to catch articles from a number of different places, which is cool to have something like that. If you're wondering where to go and find content,
right,
you can go there, flip through couple different places, and figure out which writing styles you like and types of content, because they're definitely different. Even the ones that say the same stuff say that differently. So there's a lot of diversity.
They also, and I've noticed this, they cover virtually any wrestling company there is, from the indies to the major promotions. So if you're a fan of just, independent wrestling, they got you covered here. As I am browsing right now, because, that's what I do while I'm recording, Kevin Owens isn't a part of the active roster on WWE.com. I don't know if that means he's in the alumni section, because I'm still doing my scrolling and whatnot, but still very weird here, Tuck.
Yeah. I figured they would fix it, but it's kind of a funky. I don't know. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to look into it. I'm still owning it as a mistake, but it is interesting.
Yeah, it's something to definitely keep an eye out for sure. But then we're going to move on here on SmackDown. 6-man tag action, or lack thereof. There was a bunch of people in this match, but it ended up just leading to Braun Strowman and Tyson Fury in a stare down, kind of.
Cool. Yeah, I'm not too familiar with Tyson Fury, so I'm not really behind the hype. But
big boxing guy.
Yeah, big guy.
Yeah.
Big guy.
What'd they say, 6'9" he was?
6'9", undefeated, lineal world heavyweight champ. I've heard that 15 times.
Oh, you got to make sure you're promoting the guy. I mean,
Right.
come on. He's going against the man that won the greatest Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
And as I sit here and I scroll through the alumni section, there is Kevin Owens.
Okay.
So, once again, something
That's
to keep
weird.
an eye out. But
yeah.
this match didn't need to happen, really, I don't think, to set up a Strowman and Tyson Fury feud.
No, it could have been done different ways, but whatever.
I don't think either of us are, in for this storyline, just because, and it might have to do with the fact that we don't really know much about Tyson Fury.
Well, and I don't think he's in because there's already rumblings of Fury having a rematch with Wilder in February.
That's right.
The guy where he had a draw against. So if he's going to be in, sure, put him in the mix. But WWE's in this weird spot where they're going for bigs, big tag teams, big muscles, and
big outside names.
A lot of from all over. And AEW, I think, is really showcasing their diversity in their roster,
which is smart,
from big to small. So it's weird that they're you could log jam a whole card with the big boys.
Oh yeah,
AOP, Heavy Machinery, Braun Strowman, Tyson Fury, Drew McIntyre. Even he's a big.
Where has he been?
Yeah.
That's a name.
Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of big. So that's something that I've noticed lately. It's
that's a Vince thing.
Big boys, big bodies.
Vince loves big guys. I mean, that gets him going. And, that might be potentially a downfall of his. Who knows? But we'll move on here to Roman Reigns versus... Oh, wait. What do you got?
Brock Lesnar is also a big person. He's also confirmed big.
Yeah, can confirm that as well, that Brock Lesnar is a big guy. But, yeah, Roman Reigns and Eric Rowan in a lumberjack match. I don't know. Have you ever seen a lumberjack match? Because I know you just started.
Yeah. I was... When the screen popped on and they were all around it, it was like, oh, okay. Kind of weird.
I don't like them. Because, always there's going to be some kind of involvement.
Right.
You got the people outside. The faces always stand by the faces.
Yep.
The heels always stand by the heels, and they throw in the opposite guy.
Yeah, kick and shove and push and, yeah.
Roman Reigns ends up winning. Thanks to Daniel Bryan, he got involved, and he would hit a running knee on Harper, who also was getting involved. Basically just their way of building towards Hell in a Cell, and I mean, it makes sense to put that on the show, especially with Hell in a Cell Sunday. But once again, nothing spectacular, nothing bad. Not going to shit on it, but Roman Reigns wins.
Cool. Keep it moving.
That seems to be a common trend, especially on this show.
Yeah,
Just keep it moving. And that's the problem with the time. It's the 2 hour crunching it together.
They just handcuffed the shit out of themselves between the season premiere of Raw, the debut on Fox on SmackDown. You have the pay-per-view looming.
So much.
And you're doing nothing. And I don't know how to make it better, but...
That's true. We're not sitting here saying, oh, we could probably make that better.
No, but they just got in such a tough spot. They're in a hole that they have to dig themselves out of when...
They booked themselves into a corner.
Right. With the debut of AEW, I think we were both excited about being wrestling fans and having the... I thought it would kind of make them rise up, and right now they've got a little bit of work to do to get back to a solid footing.
You know, what's that saying? It's like too much of a good thing is a bad thing.
No doubt.
It's kind of what we had going on this past week in the WWE. But then finally the matchup that mostly everybody was looking forward to was the WWE champion, Kofi Kingston, who has had such a great reign, going up against Brock Lesnar. And this match lasted about as long as I do.
4 to 7 seconds. Yeah, I mean, it's not for lack of effort on your end.
Thank you.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
But 1 F5, sip.
What were your thoughts on that? Because a lot of people are mad online.
I didn't care for it, even with the way everything finished at the end of the night. It happened, but Kofi was the smart workaround. He was the underdog, but he always figured it out. And then this one, he just launches himself right into an F5. Not a fan.
Once again, I think the time had something to do with it. But let's throw time out the window. They don't have to, hit a certain time. How would you have booked Kofi to get some offense in this match?
Yeah, at least because it would make the title feel stronger to me if he were to get some offense, even hit Trouble in Paradise or one of those moves where it doesn't knock him out, but because Brock, how many stomps does it take and all that kind of stuff? But at least Kofi threw the kitchen sink at him, and even Braun looking so strong, it was easy. You could have done it in 4 minutes. Kofi could have got off a little bit and still looked strong, but it just rubbed me the wrong way.
I can see the frustration. I'm not one of those people that's mad about it, but I get it. Because Kofi had one of the best runs. We've been saying that, and we thought his run was going to end with Randy Orton. It didn't. It went on. It was a very good run, very good champion, and just having 1 F5 do it after all of that.
Come on, man.
Yeah, that is a come on, man, right there for sure. But I get it. It's Brock Lesnar. They love the guy, and honestly, he's grown on me a little more ever since he came back once again. So,
and I think it's the right guy to put the title on.
Yeah,
from a Fox standpoint.
From a Fox standpoint, I agree, and I think I'll explain on this a little more as we talk about what happened post-match. Rey Mysterio's music would hit, and we all thought that Dominic was with him, but no. Who was with him, Tucky?
Cain Velasquez.
Is that the pronunciation?
Well, when Ray talks in Spanish, he does say Cain, which is a wild move.
He's probably right.
In Spanish, that's how you would say it. Cain Velasquez shows up, rolls down to the ring, and your universal or your heavyweight champion just looks so strong in his defeat of Kofi Kingston. He had eyes. He had eyes.
Well, it makes sense because if you know the history between these two in the UFC, Cain Velasquez knocked out Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
He's the reason that Brock went running back to WWE.
Yeah, and here we are. That is the type of feud that you kind of buy into, and it is believable, and you can get behind
because it's actually real.
When you compare that to the Strowman and Tyson Fury bit,
right?
It's so fabricated. But the Cain Velasquez Brock Lesnar stuff, I'm in.
So am I. And I've seen Kane work. I don't know if you've seen any of his Lucha Libre stuff. Pretty smooth. And for a guy that kind of just, he's very comparable to Ronda Rousey because she was very green when she came in.
Yep.
They both are just quick learners, caught on. And you could tell that Cain Velasquez is ready for the WWE. And I am in for this feud. It's just, I don't necessarily think the belt needed to be involved just based on the history these two had.
Yeah, you could have built a story to make one of them earn it and try to get it from the other one. It didn't have to be with a Kofi squash right now.
Agreed.
So,
and once again, it's a Fox thing probably and a Vince thing. I want Brock Lesnar to be my WWE champion on our A show now. I guess they're probably going to be calling it. So who knows what's going to happen there? But I do like the Kane and Brock Lesnar feud. But overall thoughts on this very first SmackDown on Fox?
It felt big. It felt, from the stage to the video packages, it felt big. It felt important. I'm grading the show as a whole. You know, it's not like an A+ home run, knock it out of the park. It did feel rushed, and it didn't build to Hell in a Cell the way I think I would have liked for a TV spot to do.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's pretty. I mean, they drew a good number. It was like 3.4 something.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. 3.9 million viewers on that Fox episode right there. And it says that 1.4 million were adults, 18 through 49. So that means there must have been a lot younger people watching?
Yeah.
That's kind of weird. And that's weird how they have that demographic split up there.
Yeah.
You would think majority...
I thought it would be flipped.
Yeah. And but then again, there might have been people over 48 because,
right.
you know, The Rock and all those old timers there. But,
you know, our dad types that are, I'll click in and see what he's up to. And
right. And yeah, very interesting numbers there for sure. But I'm in agreement with you just because it really didn't do much for Hell in a Cell on Sunday. I wasn't huge about it. Wasn't a bad show. I enjoyed it. It was entertaining. Just, you know, nothing spectacular. That's probably a good way of putting it.
Solid. Okay.
They could have done better. They could have done worse. But, hey, like I said, they booked themselves into a corner, which led us to Sunday's Hell in a Cell pay-per-view.
God damn it. Dude.
Now, you're really... I've never seen you like this about wrestling.
On my way over here again, like, you listen to Getting to Know On the Mark episode 1, it's like, it's pretty tough.
Happy Tucky.
I always find the silver lining and just, geez.
Is this a heel turn?
No, I'm just mad, and it's like, I don't even know how to express the discontent that I have, because it's just, golly.
Well, we're going to have to get into it, and then we'll give our opinions and maybe our recommendations on how they could have made it better, but we're not going to discuss every single match here between Hell in a Cell and Raw, because, you know, there was just a lot going on, and some of these matches at Hell in a Cell kind of just felt like a Raw match, you know?
Yep.
So we'll skip a few of them. But the first one we're not going to skip because this was probably the match of the night. Raw Women's Championship match, Hell in a Cell match between Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks.
It was good spots. It was creative. Apparently the women's division has an affinity for using the kendo sticks in creative ways. Both nights between Raw and Hell in a Cell, they got after it.
Mm-hmm.
It was just good. It was a good match.
Would you give it match of the night?
It has to. What else?
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah.
Yes.
And like you kind of said with the kendo stick and everything, a lot of innovative spots in this one.
Yeah.
And I think it's fair to say that Sasha Banks really is, you know, the female Hell in the Cell competitor now that she's been a part of both of them. She obviously knows what she's doing in there, including that chair in the corner spot. You know how it's propped in there.
I think Becky got hurt worse off of that, by the way. Like,
that's a tough spot because you have to land somewhere, and the only place you're going to land is between the ring and the cell.
Yeah.
There's not much space there.
Right.
But I did enjoy that. I think that for me, and once again, I want to preface this, I watched this match after Hell in a Cell because I missed it because I was watching the Packers and the Cardinals playing on Sunday. So I kind of tuned out a little bit during it. but I caught most of it, and I enjoyed it.
I thought it was good. Sasha looked smart with some of the spots. They did a good job with placing stuff early and pulling it back in late.
Leading up to it.
The chair that was shoved in the side of the cell that you forgot about for 5 minutes, and all of a sudden Becky's running her face through it and things like that. And Becky won. So
Becky won with the Beck Exploder into the chairs, followed by the Disarmor. So Becky retains her Raw Women's Championship. Once again, wrong on that prediction there. I really thought Sasha Banks was going to win, but now you got to start to think, is this feud over and with? What's next?
I don't know where they're going to take it, but Becky is the one that they want to be the champion. I don't know the program you put Sasha in to make her look strong as well. It's just Bayley. They're in a tough spot with the Boston Hug connection right now.
Yeah, they are, and we'll get to that in a little bit. But I also think that maybe Becky wins just because we got that video game coming out, and, she's kind of on the cover.
Yeah, it's tough to sell. Well, it's tough to pitch a video game with old girl on the cover if she just got beat by Sasha Banks.
Yeah, and then the other person that is on the cover in the next match ended up winning his match, too, in this tornado tag match between Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan versus Eric Rowan and Luke Harper. Did you even know what a tornado tag match was?
I did. Those were my favorite types of tag matches to play when you had 4 guys over on the N64 because you didn't have to wait for your buddy to tag him in. We're on teams. We're clearly on each side, but I don't have to wait for you to tag me in or figure out even how to press the tag button during the game. So
that's always the hardest part with those, especially the N64.
Yes. Where do I get to it? Yeah. Which C is it or whatever it was? Yeah. But I thought it was a good match.
Yeah, it was. And they gave this time. And I noticed that too because I told myself, I was at my parents'. I was like, I'm going to sit down, watch this match, and then head back to my place. And I was like, holy shit, this has been like a 30-minute match. And it was good because, like you said in video games, tornado tag matches, they're always more exciting.
Yep, there's something to watch. There's a clear divide between the two teams still. But I think it can get muddled, but I was fine with the match. It's probably the second best match of the night, honestly.
Yeah, I would probably agree with you there, and it gives opportunity too to team up on other people. Because if one guy's down, then it's a 2-on-1.
Yep,
and that's basically what we had going on here when we got towards the announce table area. And then Reigns would end up reversing and hitting Rowan with a very cool spear through the table.
It was a good spot. Daniel Bryan found his way out with a Hurricane Rana.
That's
and
true.
Then Reigns comes out of nowhere and has to make it across 2 tables and lays a thick spear on him. So I thought it was a good way.
Yeah, and I think you need that kind of stuff, especially on this show and those kind of spots, because there wasn't a lot of hype going into this. And, every single time a table spot happens, the crowd's going to react.
Yeah.
You're going to get that cheap pop.
Right. You feel like you got a little more bang for your buck with that ticket. And I think some people were not happy with how much they spent on that ticket.
Yeah, and fair reasoning. And
Yes.
I thought you were going to say a lot of people weren't happy with Rowan and Harper winning, but
No.
I could see that though, because it's like you brought these guys back. Rowan was kind of doing his own thing. Luke Harper comes into the fold, and now they lose. But come on, let's be realistic. You have those 2 superstars, Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns. Are they really going to beat them?
No, they shot themselves in the foot enough that night. At least they got that one right.
It wouldn't be the first time they shot themselves in the foot on this show.
Jeez,
But
I know.
I'll tell you what, though. When I watched this match, and something weird to me was like, I think I could go for a Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns tag team.
Well, what else are you going to do with them right now? I don't know. Are you going to push Roman to the top? You're
Back
push
to Lesnar, but Cain
right.
Velasquez now seems to be in
Exactly.
that spot. So, yeah. Where do you go here is a big question now.
Well, they hugged each other too.
I did
So
like
they're,
that.
they're boys.
Good bro hug
Yeah.
it out. Going back to the Team Hell No days when Kane and Daniel Bryan would always hug it out afterwards.
Yeah.
Guys being dudes, that's what we do.
And strong competitors, they're pushing some tag teams. It would be good to see them in the mix. I don't know what else you do.
Yeah, because then you can eventually, with that at least, do a split.
Yeah.
Because most those weird tag teams, they end up splitting. So
Mhm.
that's something you could do down the road maybe, but who knows what's next for those two. And then we had a random match here. I wasn't mad about it. We had Ali versus Randy Orton. What were your thoughts on this?
It was actually a pretty good match. I think Ali was creative in some of his spots. With me having zero expectation, and I was fine with it. Randy Orton seems to be smitten with Ali. Like
They've been tweeting at each other a lot.
I feel like he actually, as a veteran and a younger guy, has kind of taken him under his wing. Because even at the end of the match, he like patted him on the leg and made eye contact with him in a kind of a way to try to hide it. But to me, it seemed like he was like, you're doing good, kid.
He's also saying nice stuff on Twitter, which is unlike Randy Orton. And if you got Randy Orton backing you, he obviously sees something. This guy's a legend. He's arguably a top 10 superstar of all time. But I felt like these guys had great chemistry for a match that was basically just thrown together. And then we had that very cool RKO counter with the handstand from Ali. Yeah. How about that?
He's strong, man. It's stuff like that keeps you watching those new little spots. And if he can carve out a niche for himself, much like Sasha has with her creativity on this comeback, it keeps you interested. And I don't think Ali needed an extra push. I think people understand and respect him as a competitor. But in front of a pay-per-view audience with a known name, if you weren't familiar with them, I think that made him look really good.
Oh, yeah. Randy Orton can make a lot of people look good. And I think just everything meshed here, and then it ended up going with a rolling face buster into the RKO. They always try to find an innovative way with Randy Orton to hit that RKO. And, I think it was a very solid match for having no purpose.
And a lot of times when I watch Randy Orton, anytime a guy's airborne, flying, going head, so that's one of the enjoyments that I get watching him wrestle too. Is when is it actually going to come out of nowhere?
Did you see that RKO spot? I think it was 2010 against Evan Bourne.
No.
Please watch that. Just go to YouTube, type in Randy Orton RKO Evan Bourne. Best RKO you'll probably see right there. Right. So that's added to your homework. Speaking of your homework, have you done your homework?
By next episode,
Jesus
it will be done.
Christ!
It'll probably get done tonight.
Okay,
honestly.
Yeah, we are a little earlier than usual.
Yeah, I got a little time.
It's a Tuesday. Here we go. And if you don't know what we're talking about and you haven't listened to the past couple episodes, Aaron Oros told Tuck to watch 2015 Royal Rumble triple threat match between Brock Lesnar, Seth Rollins, and John Cena.
That'll get done.
I would probably say it's in my top 5 of all time.
Dang.
So, big coming from me.
All right.
Guys, watch the past decades.
Yeah, it's Taco Tuesday night, too.
My wife
made some tacos
right now.
No, you stay away.
I had Burger King for lunch, and I made a frozen pasta meal with Alfredo. So things are rumbling, stumbling, bumbling here.
You got a melting pot of a boiler in there, everything mixing it up. But
I think my body's used to the shit, literally the shit that I put into my stomach for sure. But let's move on here at Hell in the Cell. We had a random women's tag team title match. It wasn't announced until a few hours before the show. Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross, the champions, versus the Kabuki Warriors, Asuka and Kairi Sane. The first thing I noticed here, Doc, is that Asuka and Sane kind of were wrestling like heels.
Yeah, it was interesting because in hindsight, the way they worked on Raw, it does seem like they're going to push Bliss and Cross as faces.
Yeah, so that's another thing.
It was, in hindsight, it was interesting. I did not expect the finish. I think it's kind of random because there was no build.
True.
But sure, an interesting talking point to tweet about and talk about. And Asuka confirmed not going back to NXT for a while.
Yeah, I think that's definitely what I thought right away when I saw that.
Yeah.
They basically just isolated Bliss from this match, isolated Bliss from getting to Nikki Cross because, once again, they were building up Nikki Cross. So obviously the fans wanted her to tag in. And
right.
It might have been their way of doing a double turn here, having Bliss and Cross become the faces and the Kabuki Warriors maybe become heel because of the way it ended with the green mist.
Yeah, I did not see it coming and thought it was interesting.
It's different.
Yeah, and there was no... The thing that just makes me question was because of the build, did they randomly pull that out of a hat or something? Like, what can we do? Hip!
I feel like they probably wanted one title change for sure, and we would end up getting one later, but this was one of the two that ended up changing, and I'm very happy. I'm a big fan of Kairi Sane, big fan of Asuka. I've seen their work in NXT, and especially when we're going to talk about it in Monday Night Raw, I like what the direction they're headed with these two, and I think all 4 of these women could have another good match, and maybe Survivor Series. Maybe we'll see them. So
it's close, dude. We just got the tickets confirmed.
Yeah, so we are confirmed in for Friday's Smackdown at the Allstate Arena.
Yep.
Saturday's War Games at the Allstate Arena.
Yep.
Sunday Survivor Series at the Allstate Arena.
Yep.
And then you and Mikey Wilson, correct?
And Ian Garavalion.
Okay, shout out to Ian, another one of our listeners.
Sensation, yes.
We just basically named half of our audience in this episode.
Yeah. Hey, Ian's in a tough spot though. He doesn't have access to the wrestling, like the TV.
Oh, so he's got a stream?
He's got he doesn't even have Hulu or anything.
Tough scene, Ian. Tough scene right there.
It's not a good day to be Ian Garavalion.
Yeah, at least he's in college, though. So
there's that. Yeah.
That's never a bad time in college for sure, but maybe there is. It's Indiana State. Boom,
and after Raw, on Thanksgiving Eve, Black Wednesday, we head to the Sears Center for AEW Dynamite.
A lot of wrestling. Can confirm we are going to record in a hotel.
Yes,
Friday.
The hotel is booked. I don't know how many bodies will be there.
It might get wild, might get weird.
Could be 3, could be up to 5, 6. We'll see. We'll make it work, but we've got room for 4 mics, so
things may get very weird on whatever episode that may be. I'm going to go out and guess that will be episode 16, just because. So let's move on here at Hell in the Cell. We got Chad Gable versus King Corbin. I don't know if you've ever seen these two have a match before.
No, the short guy against the king looking fella. It's new, it's fresh, it's exciting, and okay.
With all that being said, though, it wasn't bad.
It wasn't bad.
It was pretty good, and
it's going to happen again.
Yes, it's going to happen again because of a roll-up win by Chad Gable. Mm-hmm. It's pretty similar to what they've basically been doing for the past month, ever since the King of the Ring tournament started. And we talked about this a few episodes ago. We were like, this could be a match you could see at Hell in the Cell. We didn't expect it, but we got it.
Right. They didn't push anything of it, so I don't think we were sitting there waiting for it. But I'm not mad that it happened. And the way that it happened later in the night between Gable and Corbin, Corbin, shoving him down and working him over, we're definitely not done.
No, and I think this is just a scenario where they're like, all right, Baron Corbin won King of the Ring. Now what do we do? Well,
right.
Just feud him with the guy that, gave him troubles in the tournament.
Yeah, and they're with that, between the two of them, they're not trying to rock the boat too much and send them in one drastic way, left or right or up or down, because they have so many other things in the works.
Yeah, a lot of big things.
They need 12 more hours of programming to get everything to make sense, but please don't.
If anything, somehow just shorten it. I don't know.
Cut the roster, something. I don't know.
It's a lot. And the last 2 matches here at Hell in the Cell that we're going to talk about, the Smackdown Women's Championship between Bayley and Charlotte. To me, this match in particular on the Hell in the Cell card felt rushed, and I never really thought they got their stride going in it.
No, because Bayley's still not a heel. So
okay, don't get me started with that. And
the way that she reacted at the end of the match was whiny, and it all
kind of like how Sasha acted, though.
I know. Well, that's their plight. But I thought they would. I was hoping that Sasha and Bayley would have a little bit more fire and be like, "Fine, okay, now we're on our way up." And that's probably the way they'll spin it in the future, with SmackDown around the corner or whatever. But
they might just cause havoc around the locker room and stuff.
Yeah, just start being that niche. But it happened. Charlotte's missed 10 times now.
I just, the whole Bayley still acting like a face, even though she's a heel, I've said it a million times, it frustrates me. Get those Bayley buddies the fuck out of her entrance. Get the music out. Stop waving to the fans. Just completely shun everybody around you.
Where is the spot where she looks at those inflata buddies and just knifes them?
Pops it.
Slash them. I don't care. Yeet, yeet, we're gone.
I'd pop.
Yeah.
And that's what she should have done by now, but she didn't. The match was probably one of my least favorites on this show. Charlotte ends up winning her 10th championship, and good for her. I'm a big Charlotte fan, but it's just like, how many times are we going to do this?
Yeah, because she's, 4 years? 3, 2?
It's been like 5 maybe,
5
but
years,
still, it's not that long, and she's won 10 championships. So I don't hate it because I know she will be a good champion, but who knows? We'll move on to another very frustrating thing that has the wrestling world talking. The Universal Championship match between The Fiend and Seth Rollins. Talk to me about this. I don't even know what to call it. Just talk to me about it.
Okay, so first off, why the red light, dude? I get it.
Oh, you didn't like that?
It was unique, but what I would have done was have have the lights on and then summon, like, have Bray do something to feel like he snapped the stadium into red. Because
he pops up in a new spot.
Yeah, they've done that stuff where he's messed with the graphics and things like that, but it was something new. I don't know that I needed it. After a while, you kind of become numb to it. But golly.
I know one of our followers actually couldn't watch it because she was so visually disturbed by it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, shout out to Renee. She is one of the followers at Pot on the Mark. But, yeah, I could understand how some people could get, visually irritated by that.
Washed, yeah.
From that standpoint, I didn't like it. But that's not the thing that pissed me off. What kind of pissed me off here was this match really was just Rollins, attacking the Fiend, trying to finish him. He couldn't do it with kendo sticks, chair, toolboxes, multiple, and I mean multiple curb stomps.
All of them.
Nothing was working. Absolutely nada. And then the ref, after a sledgehammer to the face, after all that stuff was piled on top of the Fiend, calls the match in a cell match.
You book the one match that you cannot get out of. You cannot get out of the cell. You are locked in. This is the Fiend's freaking sandbox.
Playground, yeah.
You are dead, dude. And I don't mind that they made Rollins look strong, but they had the opportunity to make the Fiend look 10 times freaking stronger. And what should have happened or could have happened while Seth Rollins is dealing with that moral dilemma of should I do it or not, the Fiend pops up, and it was not enough. Or the opposite, where it's just a freaking bloodbath. The Fiend just absolutely destroys Rollins. And they do the referee stoppage that way, that the Fiend is such a savage.
Yeah.
He could not contain himself. He was in the Hell in a Cell. He went crazy, and they had to stop it. Rollins still has the title. Fiend looks strong as hell. Sure. But the crowd, they didn't want Rollins to win.
No
and
one
he didn't win. He didn't win. It was a stoppage, whatever.
He did not.
But good for the crowd for, the AEW chants, the refund chants, the started
They
over.
weren't holding back.
No, and you cannot drown out a stadium full of AEW chants. You can wash it out if it's, here or there. You can drown out the one idiot that's yelling it close to the hot mic, but God, I just wish I wanted to be a fly in the wall in the gorilla, room in the back and just look at Vince's face as that's happening.
It's good that you bring up Vince. I kind of get where their idea was here. I think this was an attempt to make the Fiend stronger by saying nothing you can do to him is going to knock him out for the 3 count. But in that same, retrospect, the ref had to call the match because of what Seth Rollins did to the Fiend.
Mm-hmm.
So in a way that also makes him look weak. And a lot of people are speculating, bringing up things on the internet. Maybe they did this just because they're saying the Fiend wanted to get Rollins to do that to him, and now he's just going to run away from the title scene. Just like he didn't ever want the title, he just wanted to bring that inner demon out of Seth Rollins. And that's kind of what he did there, but I still don't think it's going to work because nobody right now is behind Seth Rollins. He's getting the Roman Reigns treatment from last year.
Mm-hmm.
They're overbooking the hell out of him. And you're starting to get a little bit of a fizzle out from the Fiend's hype.
Yeah, because with they didn't have to put the Fiend in that match.
They didn't.
They could have found a number of different guys for the Fiend to go after to build his plight to the belt or not the belt.
Shit, go after Aleister Black. I mean, we've been saying it for
you put his ass in the title match. Put the title on him.
Yeah, and that's my only frustration here with that, because I agree with some people are saying he doesn't need a title. He really doesn't.
Nope.
He's got that character. But if you're going to put him in there, like you said, he should probably win. But the cell would eventually raise up, and then the Fiend snaps out of it. When the cell comes up, attacks Rollins, and then stares down and looks back on the ramp, and that's the show. That's how we're ending Hell in the Cell.
And on Twitter, you could see there's tons of clips of the lights being on and the show is over, and still hundreds and thousands of people are sitting there yelling refund and expressing their discontent. As I sat there and watched the match, and it finished and it went, and the next show is playing after on the WWE network, you're just sitting there like, what the hell, dude?
It was one of those where I kept sitting there waiting for something, and you just can't really digest what happened.
That's it.
And it's just very confusing. And once again, it's overbooking. Too much going on at the same time in this week in the WWE. And I hope this isn't... I don't think this is completely ruining The Fiend. I think he is going to be fine. People are still going to be behind him a lot.
Well, he didn't die.
No.
They did end with him looking strong and, sure. But golly, I have in one of the most important weeks of WWE ever with the pop that AEW is getting and all the different transitions. Just, God, you just shot yourself in the foot, and it makes me nervous. Now, the argument is, well, if you didn't like it, you have power. Go watch AEW.
Sure.
Well, now I want to watch to see if they're going to continue to screw it up, or are they actually going to make it better?
And I think that's also part of the booking decision. They know they're going to get a reaction out of that. Let's get you to come back in on Monday night, watch Raw, and we're going to go from there. But no, they didn't continue anything. We never saw Seth Rollins. We never saw The Fiend on Raw this week. They basically just ignored the fact that happened. I think they know they fucked up here.
And I appreciate that. They're in a wait-and-see approach. They did if you want to call it a highlight package in the third hour of the show to say that it happened. And hats off to the video editors because they cut out all the nasty parts. And they did if they would have just played that during Hell in a Cell, you'd be like, oh, okay, it happened. But, I think they're taking it seriously. Because they could, and again, The Fiend. It's rumored that The Fiend is injured. We don't know how. We don't know what.
Oh, I didn't see that one.
Yeah,
I saw Sasha being injured. I don't know if you saw that one.
I heard both of them were injured. Neither of them were on the show. Whatever.
That's true. Sasha wasn't.
Whatever they were going to do with The Fiend, I think that was like, okay, well, he's not going to come out anyways. Let's not rock the boat too much and come back strong with a new angle. But
this was them punting here. This was they're saying it failed. We're punting. We're going to move on, refresh things here.
Yep.
And then we start off things with Rusev, which was surprising, but we would of course have Bobby Lashley come up on our screen. He's in bed. He's in Rusev's house, as I put air quotes up.
Rusev, if I'm in your robe, I'm probably
man, that was weird. Whenever I hear Bobby Lashley talk, I'm like,
dude, his voice does not match his body.
It's just vanilla.
Yes.
It's just like very cookie cutter stuff from Lashley. But of course, that's going to make the man that is married to Lana mad. Rusev snaps because Randy Orton and King Corbin start off the show beating him up for some reason. I don't know. Oh yeah, because of the tag match we're gonna have at Crown Jewel. Can't wait for that.
Yeah, it was a jarring like hard cut to the match too. So that was something. But Lana's got his money now. No more joint bank accounts.
That's true, yeah.
Which I think is fraud or embezzlement or something like that. Like,
I
feel like if you're going to disband your joint bank account, I feel like Rusev's got a sign on it somewhere. But
he has to have some kind of say in that.
Right. She's taking him for all he's worth. And, okay.
You in for this feud or no?
No, I'm over it. It feels tacky, sticky. I don't need it, but.
There's always one, like, tacky, feud that.
Yeah.
The WWE does, because that's the WWE. The E stands for entertainment.
Yep.
Don't quite know if this is entertaining, but I do see a positive out of all this mess, and I want people to see where I'm coming from here. I think this is going to eventually turn Rusev into a huge babyface, because people are going to get behind him. I mean, what average Joe isn't going to be like, oh, yeah, I feel bad for this guy. He just snapped on a bunch of people because his wife is cheating on him.
I don't know what else to do if I'm not in the same building, obviously, because they're definitely in Rusev's house.
100% confirmed.
The only thing I'm going to do, I'm going to try to punch these dudes out, I guess. I got to take my frustrations and let it out somehow. I am Team Rusev. I feel bad for the guy.
Yeah, and I think that might be the ultimate plan here with this feud. Wouldn't be surprised if this leads to a match with them at Survivor Series. I probably would expect Lashley to win. But overall, at the end of this feud, don't be surprised if Lana ends up coming back to Rusev. And Rusev ends up getting very over from this. So that's probably the only positive I have coming out of this feud.
Yep, I agree.
And then we would go to a last woman standing match, because this is a feud that's happening that not a lot of people seem to be paying any attention to, which us included. Lacey Evans, and against that nasty Natalya. And honestly, and this is going to sound crazy to most people, I actually enjoyed this match.
I thought there were a few 9 counts too many. I think it drug on a
Fair.
tad, but it was like 17 minutes. So if it was cut down to like 14, like, yeah, I enjoyed seeing Natalya flung at the new entrance and like sliding down. I thought that was funny. But there were good spots. Again, another interesting kendo spot.
Yeah, that where she interlocked it in the rolling chair. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
And trapped her in that? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen that spot before. So, I mean, that's cool, and that's what you're going to get out of a last person standing match. You're allowed to use the toys and whatnot. I mean, They went on the ramp and everything, and it ended with Natalya throwing Lacey off the stage through a table to win. And hopefully this is the end of that feud, but it makes sense to have a last woman standing match finish a feud if that's what you're doing.
Yeah, I'm not typically a fan of these last man standing matches. I think they drag on a little bit. And this one did at times, but I was more entertained than I thought I would be. And I was actually surprised that the garbage can actually had trash in it.
That's very true. A nice little touch from
what kind of savage doesn't put a bag on that type of garbage can?
Lacey Evans, apparently. Maybe she's the real nasty here.
She's actually the nasty. Yeah.
Sorry, Lacey, if you're listening. I didn't mean that 100%. I am a nasty for saying that.
Well, call us. We'll talk about it.
Yeah, we can talk about that. We'll have you on the show. Open invitation for you, absolutely. But we're going to move things over to the Viking Raiders finally getting a meaningful match against Robert Roode and Dolph Ziggler. This match, I thought, was pretty solid.
I also agree. The Viking Raiders are starting to fight people that we know, and now they're winning. So I would like more from a promo standpoint to get behind them from a character standpoint. The wrestling's solid when they're in the ring, though.
Yeah, and they know how to work as a face tag team, and you could tell in this match with their comeback, the crowd gets behind them and all that. They end up picking up the victory here against the Raw Tag Team Championships, or Raw Tag Team Champions, I should say. There we go. And they earn a shot that will be happening next Monday. I don't know if you saw that. They have a title shot.
Yeah, let's go. I'm watching.
I think that's a Viking Raider win right there. I don't know about you.
Yep.
And then what happens to Robert Roode and Dolph now?
And they're back to the mid-card, jobbing it up.
Like, was the point of Ziggler and Roode just to get the belts off of Strowman and Rollins?
I guess.
Why not just have the Viking Raiders do that then if you're going to... There's just too much overbooking going on right now in the WWE. But I do like seeing the Viking Raiders in the title scene because they're badasses. Everybody knows them as War Machine, War Raiders, all the names that they have been referred to as.
Yes.
Because they've been changed a couple times, like the Viking Experience. How about that one?
Yeah, not the best moment.
That's still what their finisher is called, I think, the Viking Experience. But hey,
sweet.
What are you going to do there? But hey, Aleister Black's alive.
Yeah, that's it.
He faced, I guess you could say, the Singh brothers, and it was just basically saying, I'm here. Don't forget about me.
All right, let's find him a real opponent. I think we're good.
We need somebody real to knock on that door, not the Bollywood boys.
Yes, the Bollywood boys.
That's, I think, what they've heard themselves as.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know what's next for Aleister Black. Obviously, they don't know either. That's why they did this, but...
It's been over a year, dude.
At least they haven't forgot about him.
I guess
that's the positive here out of this.
We are stretching here, yeah.
Because, I mean, AOP, they have their backstage stuff still going on, and then Aleister Black, when he got his backstage segment, I was like, all right, now we're building towards the next Aleister Black feud. No, we're not. He's facing the Singhs.
Okay, looks really strong to a new viewer or something like that.
What do you think of that submission move? That's the first time he pulled that out.
It was weird, but
it's quick.
Yeah, it's snappy, yeah. Not weird, like, what in the heck, but yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, it's something that can come out of nowhere, and I think in matches that he's going to be in, it's going to be something to look out for. So
the threat of it, yep.
Yeah, so hopefully something big's coming for Aleister Black, because I know we are big fans of him. The OC versus the Lucha House Party was happening, and I just sat here, and I saw the Lucha House Party come out, and I go, what are we doing with the OC?
Yep.
What are we doing?
Well, even though like the Lucha House Party had a little bit of offense,
they did, which is surprising.
Then they cut to a commercial and they're just getting their asses kicked. It's like, okay.
I mean, they get new theme, they get new colors, they get new Tron. AJ's the United States champion, but somehow they are losing momentum here. Mm-hmm. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't care for them,
and I want to because they're all uber talented, but you're not giving them a chance to shine. And I sit here and I'm thinking, what can you do then? and I really can't think of anything. And that's probably the problem that they're in right now.
Yep, I agree. What are you going to do?
It's just frustrating, man. As we get more and more down this weekend of wrestling, and the more and more the frustration seems to build, I guess.
Yeah, we're like beat up and abused. I know it.
It's nice to have a sort of an off day as we sit here and talk about it.
Yeah.
On a Tuesday, as in I might watch AEW's dark matches after this. So.
Well, and then, we're looking ahead to NXT and AEW, and we have no complaints about NXT from last week. So there are high hopes, and there is the sun on the horizon.
Wednesday nights are the best night in wrestling.
As of right now, it's not even close. Not even
and I don't know
close.
If you notice this, or do you have DirecTV, by the way?
No.
Okay, well.
Hulu. I'm a streamer.
I don't know if this is just a DirecTV thing, but once again, just like they did last week, AEW Dynamite is re-airing their show right at 9, right after.
It's smart.
It's smart, but it seems like an easy decision if you're a fan of both companies, because I can watch NXT.
If you're a one-screen viewer, which many are.
Yeah.
And they still killed them last week. But
the
numbers got to come. You think it comes down or you think it goes up for AEW?
I think they both go up.
Yeah. I definitely think NXT goes up after the week that they had.
Big week.
Didn't super push them on Raw like I thought they would. But I think that number goes up. I don't know about AEW. I don't know this early on.
It could have just been a debut.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if it got down to 1.1.
Yeah, I don't
be surprised if it got up to 1.5.
I don't think it goes below 1 million though.
Yeah,
I think
don't think so.
They'll definitely reach the 1 million mark there. But we had NXT as our winners last week. As much as this probably doesn't make sense, it makes sense to me. I call AEW the winner this weekend, and they didn't even have a show.
Well, they clearly were, because that's what the viewers wanted at Hell in a Cell.
And that's why I say they're the winners here. So,
because it's like one of those things. Like if you're in a strategy game, you're not gaining any ground, but you certainly haven't lost any ground. It's the running back that smartly decides to go to a knee, or the quarterback doesn't get killed, right?
Yeah.
We're not going too crazy, but
the other team was just hurting themselves. You weren't beating them virtually, is what we were getting at here. But once again, here we're going to go back to Monday Night Raw. We had a Miz TV segment with both the women's champions, Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch. That would ultimately be interrupted by the new women's tag team champions, the Kabuki Warriors, because they would have a tag team match scheduled for this show. And they came out and they were speaking a lot of Japanese here.
Yeah. Yep.
Did you pick up on any words they were saying?
0 subtitles? Nope.
And I think that's kind of the point. I think they're going for the heel foreigners that speak in another language, and those Americans are going to be like, boo, you're not speaking English.
You suck. And
I'm kind of here
got
for
wutted, but I do like it. It's something different. And I think Asuka and Io both got to show. Kyrie both got to show.
Don't let me talk about Io. Get hot and steamy. Settle down. Yeah, come on.
Hot, steamy, and gassy.
Come on, Tucky.
But I think they both got to show a little bit more of their personality. They weren't trying to do English so much that they were choppy. I'm sure I don't know. They could have talked about unicorns eating peanut butter, jumping rope. I don't know, but
sounds interesting to me. When they were talking, I was like, yeah. Cool.
Me too.
Seems like the Japanese mean girls going on over there, and that we don't care what you think of us.
You're nasty.
So yeah, I'm here for it. But yeah, this would end up being a tag team matchup. A really good one at that. And I can't say I'm surprised. You got Asuka, former champion. Kyrie was an NXT champion. And then Becky and Charlotte. What were your thoughts on this one?
I didn't see. I mean, I expected the green mist. I expected that to kind of pop up again. But I thought both teams looked strong. I thought the promos on Miz TV between Charlotte and Becky were good too. I think they both had some clapback moments.
It started off as kind of civil, and then we're going to get a champion versus champion match.
Yeah, you're going to have to. And the heels snuck away with the win. The ref is out. Good Asuka, Warrior, Kubaki Warriors. We're missing him. The good Kabuki Warrior push because they had their spot. They were heels. They got their heel win. It didn't make Charlotte and Becky look weak.
No.
So, well done.
You know what I found out too on Twitter? That was the first time Becky Lynch was pinned on an episode of WWE TV since May 2018.
Sandlot style forever.
Forever.
Yes, it's been a while.
Which is pretty wild to think of, that you can go that long without getting pinned on TV. But I'm a big fan of Kabuki Warriors. I'm glad they're finally being utilized, and I think they finally found their niche. We were waiting on it. Was it with Paige? Was it not? I don't think they need Paige anymore. I think they found what they need to do.
Yeah, I think it will run its course over time if not utilized correctly. But right now it is new, fresh, and exciting, and that's something we haven't said in the last hour and however, like the whole show.
Hour, yeah. I just had a light bulb go off in my head, and this might have been put on Twitter. I haven't seen it yet.
Ching.
Why not just call up EO and make just this Japanese
Faction.
foreign faction, and they just run rough through everyone?
Yeah. Well, you're done with. I mean, they're done with EO, right?
Like what? I mean, EO's.
What else?
Yeah, she can't beat Shayna unless that's what they're going for. Watch when Wednesday happens, because we're recording on a Tuesday. EO's going to be the new number one contender.
Yes, here we go.
But yeah, that's something I definitely could see. But after that match, Bliss and Cross would be down. Big wins for the Kabaki Warriors. Kabaki, there we go again.
There we go.
Get Kubaki off my mind. I never thought I would say that in my life.
Kubaki on my mind.
That sounds like a terrible song right there. But obviously, that's not the end of Bliss and Cross versus the Kabuki Warriors. There we go. We got it right that
Nailed
time.
it.
It's kind of like me pronouncing Sammy Guevara last week.
Right. But you also did that well. And
Yeah.
They're out of nowhere. That's a cold
Guevara.
That was a cold Guevara spot there.
Suck it. Take that. Sammy Guevara nailed it. But we got a few more things to talk about. Nothing too exciting, though, that happened here on Monday Night Raw. Ricochet versus Apollo Crews. They called this the showcase match with the draft coming up on Friday and then the following Monday on Raw. Could have been good. Extremely short. Ricochet wins. Don't care.
Take 4 minutes off that Italian match and give it to these guys. They've got good chemistry.
They're talented.
It was, I wish I would have had a little bit more. It wasn't enough for me to be like, yay. And you don't need to showcase Ricochet. It was for Apollo, and then he lost. So
Ricochet has had the most TV matches in 2019.
Really?
Yeah.
That doesn't
saw that
surprise
too.
me.
So they obviously see something in him. They want to
Yes.
showcase Ricochet. And I feel like Raw was basically just a tryout for the draft.
Yeah.
In a weird way, and it wasn't a good one.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, we already know who everybody is. We don't need to do these tryout matches. So, another thing that just felt odd about Monday Night Raw, I kept sitting there. I was like, this is just a weird show, and not in a good way.
Yeah. Because I tuned in to figure out what the heck they were going to do with Seth Rollins and The Fiend, and left disappointed there. I don't care enough about Braun Strowman and Tyson Fury to...
That main evented the show.
Yeah.
That right there, Tyson Fury and Braun Strowman. Tyson Fury cut a promo, basically. And we just ended with a brawl. The roster got involved. Okay.
You saw some faces that I haven't seen in Sandlot style forever. Was Devon Dudley out there?
He might have been, because I know he's a producer.
I think he was out there.
Fit Finlay shows up from time to time. I can't get behind this. It's just, I get what they're doing here. It's another mainstream star coming in, get eyeballs on the product. But let's be honest here. How many people are going to, be interested in Tyson Fury versus Braun Strowman, especially closing Monday Night Raw?
Well, and he's not this mega UFC guy either. Like, UFC is
way bigger than boxing right now.
Right.
Yeah.
So, Tyson looked okay. Took a couple.
He's a wrestling fan, so it makes sense that he at least kind of gets it.
His punches looked a little soft, like he didn't want to hurt anybody.
Shane McMahon.
Yep.
Esque.
And that's actually a very good comparison. Whatever, dude.
It's just like I said. That's your ending of Monday Night Raw. That's what we're going with WWE. Tyson Fury and Braun Strowman.
You gotta pick up your ball and go home, and hope that NXT tomorrow is popping. Triple H, we need you.
Yeah, Papa H needs to save us here, because
come on now.
Out of these three shows that happened, Raw, Hell in a Cell, SmackDown, I would definitely say Raw was probably my least favorite. Hell in a Cell had the worst moment.
Yes.
And SmackDown, I guess, was the best.
By default, right?
It's not like jumping off the page.
They let the other team lose in that regard, but
who's your winner? SmackDown then?
SmackDown, yeah. Just because The Rock, he's just good at what he does.
Yeah, and it was a good start to the show,
but and let juxtapose the Kofi Brock stuff with the Fiend and Rollins stuff. The Kofi and Brock stuff, you're like, dang it.
Yeah.
You know what? Like, shoot, he had a good run. Darn it. The Hell in a Cell stuff, you're like, mother, what are you doing? right? And that's to me between the two main event thing on Raw that's not a thing, but it's like at least between Brock and Kofi, you're like, darn it,
Yeah,
shoot.
like you're just mad that happened. You'll move on from it.
Yeah,
The Fiend, the Rollins thing, it leaves a sour taste in your mouth.
you're like, I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed. What are you doing?
Yeah, and that's basically this recap here is what was WWE doing? I don't know. I don't know if I can answer that question. And I'm sorry if you listened to this whole episode and you actually had some more positive thoughts on some things, but that's wrestling. We're all going to have our different opinions and all that. And our shows aren't always going to be us, critiquing and...
For the most part, they're not a bash fest.
No, but it just so happened that we both are on the same page. We got frustrated a lot this weekend. And
Okay, so here's my challenge to you.
Oh, here we go.
Find silver lining in that Hell in a Cell finish. I think I got some.
Well, you say yours, maybe, and then I could maybe think of something because I can't right now.
They're just turning Rollins to this dark,
That's it.
super
That's it.
heel guy, maybe.
And he was that at one point when he turned on the Shield.
Right? Yeah. I still don't care.
I think you kind of have to turn Seth Rollins heel now.
You've backed yourself into another corner.
A lot of corners going around.
Yeah. What does this room exactly look like? Because they are bouncing from one end to the other. But it's kind of like the Austin Powers. I don't know if you get this. When Austin Powers is backing up and turning that cart in the hallway
I don't
in
know what
Gold
you're talking
Member.
about. I wish I did.
He does like a 25-point turn to get this cart in this narrow hallway turned around. That's what I feel like WWE's doing right now.
Right. And the good thing is they got time now to build towards Survivor Series. And, of course, they're going to build towards Crown Jewel.
Bro, Survivor Series has to be popping.
Agree. It
has to be 100. I'm glad we have tickets. I'm glad that Hell in a Cell did not happen at Survivor Series. Not saying it won't. Not saying it can't.
Say let's not count our eggs before they hatch.
That's what happened when we went to Survivor Series. Jeez Louise, no thanks.
I could imagine if you went to Hell in the Cell, you're probably sitting there like, I don't want to go to another event again.
No.
That can ruin a live experience. Can ruin it for you. Mm-hmm. I've gone to probably a dozen shows. I can only imagine one time I walked out and I was mad, and it was Raw with T-Walk.
Yeah.
I don't know if you were at that Raw. It was just recently, actually.
No, I was not.
I walked out, it was on the road to WrestleMania. I'm like, this isn't good. I have a bad taste in my mouth, and, I'll be back, but you didn't really woo me. But, hey.
There is a little bit of a risk when you go to these shows, and you're not always going to be happy, and, you're catching some of these TV shows in the middle of programs and on the way to things, and it is what it is, but
right.
They've got to do better.
The silver lining is they can do better. NXT probably will do better tomorrow as we're recording this on a Tuesday. And hopefully everything just works itself out. But this weekend with SmackDown, Hell in the Cell, mainly more Hell in the Cell and Raw, not too happy. You got to pick it up, WWE. And that's all I really got to say.
Yeah, I agree with you as well. Give us your thoughts on Twitter.
Yeah.
What did you like about the weekend? What did we miss?
That's a challenge for the listeners right there. Tweet at us something you did like from any of the shows. I don't care which show it was. If you could find something you really liked out of Raw, I'd be very surprised.
Yeah, me too. But we always like the engagement. We always like to interact, and looking forward to continue building our fan base. We appreciate all the listens, and we the needle is moving. We do see growth. And
buy a shirt.
It is, when those shirts come out, dude, come on now. They're not going to be expensive. We're not there yet.
We're not trying to make a bunch of money off of you guys. We just want to throw that shirt out there and let people see it.
That's a cool shirt. I'll take one. Thanks.
Oh, I thought you were talking about mine.
Well, that is too. I'm an
True
Office
Farms.
fan. Yeah, I'm an Office fan.
All right.
I'm repping the Couts Mustangs as always. That's like my wardrobe now. Yeah. Visit coutsbaseball.com to see no new updates in the past 6 months, but life is good. For Kyle Gagliardi, I am Jim Tucker. Thank you for listening to the On the Mark Wrestling
Podcast.
Thanks for listening to the On the Mark Podcast.
Brock Lesnar going for an F5 to Cena for the championship. Lesnar with the cover.
We hope you enjoyed today's episode. For more information and updates, make sure to follow us on Twitter at Pod on the Mark.